Good morning, good morning. Welcome to 4x8 Paper Stuff. This is day 4 of our Halloween book report, and it's on Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. And day 4 is all about apple bobbing. The first murder takes place at the Halloween party in the apple bobbing area. And the girl is apple bobbing and gets stabbed in the back. Yeah. So, um, if you watched my videos from last month, I experimented with acetate and painting on it as if it were a Tim Holtz product and what it might look like on acetate and making it old. However, I don't have his products. I don't have the distress inks, and I don't have all the chemical products that he has. And I'm using chemical as a word besides paint. All the different things that he uses to achieve some of these looks, nor have I bought the acetate products that he sells. So I was just trying to make my own. And it worked, but you have to start off with acrylic or something that doesn't move after you get it wet a little bit. Which on this one, all I did was use acrylic. Red and black paint. I painted some apples in the window. And it's going to be a window. It's just going to be a tip-in, but it will act as if it's kind of like abstract apples. So I had to let that dry for quite a while because you can't heat that stuff up, or obviously the acetate will melt. So I also made these products at the end of last month also with the thought knowing that I needed apples. I talked a lot about apples last month, but really and truly, the first murder that we hear about is in the apple bobbing area. And then you don't hear any more about apples, but that's okay. That's where the murder took place. That started the book off. So, there might be a lot of apples, not really a lot of apples showing up, but it's a location of a murder. So there might be red or apples or something throughout. I don't know. All I know is that a murder did happen. Now, you'll see me ripping this. Well, this was a page I made last month also that had a real exaggerated edge to it. And I just cut most of it off, which I didn't think about that when I started this out. But it's okay. It's okay. It still has an exaggerated torn or layered edge to it. It's grungy. It's apples. It's red. That's kind of all I wanted for a background piece. The main body of the prompt and all my chapter the review of the chapter are in little tiny journal cards that I've already made, and they're all in pockets. So all you'll see is kind of like a representation of the prompt, which is apple bobbing, apple bobbing. So I am making the bones of a tip in here, and it takes me a while to figure this all out. Yes, I know. It takes me a while. And yes, part of last month and experimenting was to try to avoid these kind of problems, but that's okay. That's okay. You'll see that when I do that, it doesn't bend in the intersection of the book, of the spine of the book. It bends a little later, more to the right. So I'm like, how do I do this? How do I do this? I finally figure it out. It takes me a minute, but these are not like things that I think of immediately all the time. So there we go. There we go. All I need is a flap that I can attach stuff to. That'll be hidden. So I get there. But then now I'm thinking, where do I attach the acetate? So I ended up cutting it to the size I needed, but also leaving a little bit of flap on the acetate. And it's malleable. It'll bend, but it's not like it won't bend as easily as paper. But that's okay. That's okay. It's enough. And once I get stuff in the book and keep closing it every night after I make a page or spread, it'll work. It'll work. So what I'm trying to figure out here is I want to add the acetate, but I want to keep the tab part hidden. So I'm trying to figure out when I need to add layers at what point. I did some collage work, and There's pictures from a 1946. No, I can't remember the year. It's 1946, I think, or maybe it's 43. Duke University yearbook that I found at a junk shop in the middle of nowhere. There's my pocket from the day before, so I'm putting my journaling card in right there. And I'll read all these to you. Not every day, but I'll start reading them to you. These first 4 days I filmed ahead of time because I'm putting the beach house back together after being away from it for 6 months. So I needed to focus on that and not how I'm going to make videos every day. So I can only focus on one thing at a time, people. I guess that's what I'm saying. So anyhow, I'm cutting out some apples and using a scratched piece of paper from the previous flap. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to put all these. Anyhow, there's a party scene from Duke University yearbook, which is black and white. And it lends itself to the right, semi-right kind of era and people and everything that I needed. Then I have another little tiny picture from Pinterest that's black and white of a girl dipping her head into an apple bobbing container. And so that's on this little flap from the previous page on day 3. So I just kind of, plus now I'm going through my supplies trying to figure out what I can use because I've got a hole and I need to cover up the hole. So I'm thinking I need an overall background piece underneath everything. And that way all my holes are covered up. But that's just a piece of deli paper that I had black on. And it was in my medium size bits and bobs of paper. And it'll work. In hindsight, I love this. I love the black and white on deli paper. And it really doesn't show that much anyhow, but that's okay. That's okay. And I keep trying to figure out how I want these things. I don't know how I want them. Now I'm getting hot under all these lights because I have long sleeves on and Halloween sleeves at that. And I'm thinking, how do I do this? How do I want to do this? So I'm figuring, moving things around, and then I'm like, I'm going to go back to something I love. I make a tower. I love stacking things. I don't know why. I don't know why. I need somebody to tell me what my likes are in the processes that I do, what that means about me. Why do I like grunge? Why do I like, because I don't like it in other parts of my life at all. Why do well, I do like it in fabric a little bit. It has a home in fabric, not for everywhere, but in some places it does. Why do I stack things? Because maybe it's because I always wanted to be tall and I'm very short. I'm 5 foot, less than 5'1". And the older I get, the shorter away from 5'1" I get. The quicker I get farther away from 5'1". Anyhow, so blah, 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 I can't talk. I'm just so excited to finally start this project, to get into it. I've been thinking about it for 3 months now. Well, maybe 2 months. And known for a month that this is what I was going to do. At the end of, like about the middle of August is when I came up with this. Because I had other ideas in my head too. Anyhow, I have an apple bobbing party happening in my journal. That's all I wanted. And in the journaling part is where I talk about the murder. And then I went over everything with my Stabilo red very, very lightly. And I don't get it wet, but I do smudge it around. And that kind of just gives a shadow of red in places. Just to kind of put it out there that there's red going on here also. Is it red for apples or is it red for blood? I don't know. Anyhow, so, and if some of you have already gotten the book and are reading it, it takes a long time to get into this book, FYI. Speaking from experience, at least for me it did. But that's typical of a Hercule Poirot book. There's tons and tons of possible witnesses, possible culprits. I mean, it just takes forever. Here's my blood red apple acetate page. There's a couple places that are a little bit damp, so I'm kind of blotting it a little bit to try to get off the top layers of wet stuff. Oh, this is so much fun. Why is this so much fun? Building a book like this is incredibly fun. Incredibly even more fun during a holiday. So now here's where I cut my little tab. In hindsight, I think I should have just made it a little bit wider and used the whole length of it. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It is okay. I will survive. It will work. Next time I'll make it the length of the entire page. But here's where I'm almost put it in upside down QWERTY. But here's where I attach everything now. And I'm using double-sided tape because that's extra strong. And don't want any kind of apples disappearing on me here or falling out. So this was incredibly fun. There aren't as many layers as I'm hoping to get on other pages, but every page doesn't need to look alike. The acetate is the star of the show for this page, if you ask me. But fun, 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 and even more fun. So now I've got the first 4 pages uploaded and scheduled for YouTube. So now I can kind of relax and get the rest of them done on a daily basis at the beach. So now you'll start seeing sunsets and things from the beach, or sunrises, I guess. But anyhow, this was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But don't go bobbing for apples at a Halloween party because somebody might stab you. So I just kind of, oh, I forgot I did this. I'm not so sure this was a good idea, but that's okay. I'm writing apple down the center of it backwards on this side so that it shows up on the other side right. But anyhow, it's done now. I can't change it unless I take this all apart, which I'm not going to. So once I got it all in the right direction, the letters facing the right direction from the other side, I kind of thickened them up a little bit. And it's just kind of in there. It's not completely in your face, apples. But you might get stabbed in the back. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow at the beach. Bye.